Okay, here we go.
Here we go. What's happening?
Let's go.
What's happening? Hey,
what's up, everybody? Straight No Chaser season 4 coming at you like never before. With yours truly, Hoop Jargon, my guy JC, and my guy D Brown. What's up, fellas?
Man, what is good in the neighborhood? It is season 4, like you said. Too hype. Another Cowboys season, another NFL season underway. And man, I'm glad to get back at it with you boys to do it like we do it.
Absolutely. Man, if you click, you might miss something. I mean, everything happens so fast. You know what I'm saying? Like, here we are again. I swear to God, it feels I think I've said this now 3 times. All right. After a playoff exit by the Cowboys, here we are in the same spot a year later. Disappointment. And you feel like at that point in time, after the loss, you're like, damn, nothing's going to be decided for another year. I can't even enjoy the regular season. Then you get to the regular season and you watch other teams, not the Cowboys, and you see why we love football so much, man. So
absolutely.
Yeah, let's roll. Ready, roll. Let's do it.
Absolutely. I think our first game, the only Thursday game I think America's ever liked, kind of set the tone for the season, man. And so, if you ain't excited about football, something wrong with your ass, goddamn.
Right. Absolutely, man. Everything the food tastes better, the beer is colder, the whiskey hit harder. I think the girls look a little better, but they might get over that. But it's football season, man. If there's balance in the force, it's football season, man. Let's get at it.
Man, salute everybody in the chat. I see y'all. Shout out to my guy G. Shout out to my boy Will. Shout out to my guy Corey over there hating.
What's up, y'all? What's up? Hate. I love it.
We like the haters and lovers all together.
Love the haters, man. Love it.
We're 11 deep. Y'all hit that like, but we got a good show planned out for you. So, as we know, the Cowboys start the season today. And so a lot of fixtures, have been in the storylines. Everybody loves to talk about the Cowboys, but one storyline that's been dominating most of the summer.
Technical difficulty.
Earthquake.
So
it's live, baby. It's live. We good.
It's going to be one Sedarius CD Lamb. Right. So as we see, he finally got paid. He finally got his contract situation together where a lot of people were basically insinuating that Jerry Jones was disrespecting him by not offering the contract early. We saw some of the back and forth banter on Twitter. Yes. We how this society does, man. If you don't get a deal done when they want it done, there's controversy. So we'll start with you, JC. How big is it the Cowboys have, got the CD Lamb thing done so we can get rolling?
Absolutely crucial. Without, and this will be a recurring theme, without upgrades made in the running game, again, it's still yet to be seen. You had to get CD in the building. This is pretty much your best, all due respect to Dak, this is pretty much your best offensive player. And, this is the going rate. We've all accepted it. And it's the same thing every time with the Cowboys. Cap strapped, how are we going to do it? And then boom, CD gets 34. And again, it's absolutely critical. The chemistry between him and Dak, that's a little bit overblown in terms of CD missing camp. It's really no big deal. He's been throwing to him for years, and it was absolutely crucial, to get this done. Because if you can imagine a Dallas offense without him and a transitional running game, ouch, that's Carolina Panthers-esque.
No, that's us in 2016.
Yeah.
17.
So
17, with Tavon Austin. Yeah. I can imagine it just fine.
So, and that's a theme that I think that we'll continue to hit on, man. And I've gone back and I've looked at pretty much all the shows that we've done just to try to, help myself become a better podcaster. And also, I love me some me and watching myself on camera. And we have this theme. We have this recurring theme, guys. We talk about it relentlessly. The Cowboy offense works better with a run game. We just keep coming back to that. I watch all the shows and we keep coming back to it because it's true. So it's going to be really interesting to see, man, how they piece one together. I look at it this way. Thank God CD's back. Critical. if we can somehow, out of that foursome, somehow get 1,800 yards rushing as a team, maybe 19, with Dak throwing in just a little bit, and CD mixing in a few runs, I will be ecstatic. Again, time and time again, we can go through, particularly the last 10 years, and how much better this thing works, with a run game. Any of the games that you watched, the few NFL games that have, taken place, the Thursday night game and then the game down in Brazil, you saw where, look, there was some pretty significant, cats in the running game for all four of those teams. Philly had Saquon. KC, again, I've always said about KC, Pacheco is muy macho. He really is an underrated cog in that thing. And then, of course, you had the Packers bringing over Jacobs. Okay. And then, of course, Baltimore's Baltimore. They're going to run it regardless. And they've got number 8, who is also very good at running it. And and I'm going to throw it back to you guys. It's not that it's okay. It's got to be 3. Well, people have to understand when we talk about the run game. It's not that it's got to be just 3 in a cloud of dust. This is how we need to do this, and it needs to be the sole focus. No, fellas, the key is balance. Balance, right? If you could balance that offense, get a little symbiote going there, man, with the run and pass game, right? That's when you become really effective as an offense. You don't have to be run heavy, but you've got to be, I guess, your timing has to be very good in terms of the way you work the run game, but it has to be there, and so that to me is going to be really something to chart and follow starting today. How's that run game going to handle?
There you go. So, well, y'all get the like button. We're 17 deep. Y'all get the like button, get some more bodies in here, man. You're getting content, Cowboys content like nowhere else. All right, D Brown, CD Lamb signing. What you got?
Man, I to piggyback off what JC came with, man, and I totally agree about the balance. Going back to the signing itself, I wasn't surprised that it happened. Jerry's history has been, Jerry doesn't let, in a prime talent get away from here. So a lot of the back and forth, and then you see all the vlogs and the gossip rags, talking about where will CD end up. Man, I knew for a fact that he was going to be here. There's no way in the world that you could justify letting that talent get away, and it's not been Jerry's history. So glad to have him back because of what he brings, to JC's point, in helping achieve balance offensively. I love the point he made about the run game. Where I look at this is I think they have the backs to achieve, what they need to accomplish. Do they have the marquee name? Do they have a Saquon Barkley? Do they have a Josh Jacobs? No, they do not. They have a name, but he's not the functionality that attached to that name isn't what it once was. And of course, I'm talking about Ezekiel Elliott. But I think there's going to be a bigger emphasis to kind of extend JC's point on this balance game, and where CD can help with that is that because of the threat of him and even the threats that we have at tight end, I think Brandon Cooks' second year, we saw what Brandon Cooks became as the season progressed. I think he's going to be, certainly saw some chemistry with him and Dak in camp before he got dinged up. So I think Dallas is going to be dangerous, and I think you can't be dangerous without CD Lamb, right? He's that danger element. He's the guy that you've got to find and invent ways to get the ball in. But to achieve that balance, I think there's going to be a bigger onus on Mike McCarthy, the play caller, to go with. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes, because there's two things in play here. You got 2 rookie offensive linemen. How are they going to fare and help establish, that run game, and even, do that thing in the pass game with Guyton and with Beebe. But how does McCarthy balance who's the hot guy? For example, if you get it going and Rico has got 4 or 5 carries going and he's got a flow, he's got a bust, does he stay with Rico? Does he acquiesce to Zeke because he's Zeke, even though Rico's hot? I think Deuce is there but for what he needs to be there for, which is the gadget plays. The great Nate Newton said it best. if Deuce Vaughn dresses for a Sunday, then you've got to know that he got to figure actively in the game plan, because if you dress Deuce Vaughn and you don't use him for those plays in space and for what Deuce Vaughn can give you, then you've wasted a roster spot, right? So it's going to be real interesting to see how McCarthy himself balances that, which has got, and oh, by the way, they have Dalvin Cook on the practice squad. So this is going to be a continually evolving thing on basically who's the guys going, how the play calling, which we always talk about on this show, the game management of McCarthy, the play caller, is going to be even more in play as it relates to that run game to help take the pressure off QB1. But it started with getting CD in here because, it's Allen Hurns all over again. And we saw how that season started when we went, homeboy by committee out there at receiver and not giving Dak a downfield threat. So that was huge.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have hit the nail on the head. And listen, man, I'm saying to two gentlemen who are my senior, but I'm saying as you get older, you learn to stop getting concerned about the fodder level content. And as we know, Jerry Jones loves to use the media to get what he wants.
The best in the world.
Media, right. Whether that's from the direct negotiation standpoint, whether that's from general attention to the Cowboys brand. See, people all the time, they don't understand what all works into the America's team moniker. It's just, obviously, it's not just winning championships. It's all the pageantry that goes into a season that creates what, ladies and gentlemen? Anticipation. Because listen, on his face, you should not be excited about this Cowboy team. Why is that? Because we've seen, this is much of the same thing we've seen the last 3 years. The talent's there. The quarterback's there. We got the competent coach. Not a lot of sizzle on him, but listen, he got a Super Bowl at the end of the day. To me, if I just take away my Cowboys fanship, there's nothing exciting to be. There's no new wrinkle this year that I'm supposed to be looking out for besides your boy Diggs coming back, right? But, somehow, some way, shout out to, who's that? Somehow, some way, keep coming up with funky. Oh, Snoop Dogg. Shout out to Snoop Dogg.
Ooh, yes.
Somehow, some way, everybody's caring about the Cowboys again. And this is again, with the pageantry. So, with this, when it took place, I was like, there's no way in blue hell we're not going to re-sign CeeDee Lamb. So, I always look past that. I never thought this was a point of concern. But we'd be straight dishonest to say that this has not been a talking point that people have concern about for the better part of the summer. So, yeah, man. So good take on the first one, y'all. So, shout out, the deal says he'd like to see Kevon Turpin get some more usage on the offense.
100%.
Yeah, you'll get no debate over here for sure. All right, so you guys kind of led in perfectly with the next talking point, which let's talk about that running back room. As we know, with Dalvin Cook coming over here, made a day late and $1 short, but he's on the roster. We're looking with Dotto probably going to be our starting running back, with Zeke coming back probably 2 years too late. But we got what we got, gentlemen. So we know that. Well, you guys have kind of already assessed the fact that the run game has to help establish everything else. I think that's blatantly obvious. So any other insights y'all want to touch on a little bit? You can throw in Deuce Vaughn as well to talk about what you guys expect to see from that running back by committee.
I think eventually you're going to see Rico Dowdle become the workhorse. Just because he's bided his time, he's shown flashes. This is actually his chance.
Absolutely.
And I'll say this, and I'll be interested to hear what you guys weigh in on this. If Rico Dowdle, because he's the guy, I mean, if Rico Dowdle doesn't establish himself as more of the workhorse back for what this season needs, then Dallas is going to be in trouble, unless you get Dalvin Cook up to speed. Because veteran guys like Dalvin Cook and Zeke Elliott, they didn't need a whole training camp. I mean, they've been doing this too long. Correct. And they know how to get themselves prepared and all those things. And from the workout videos that you saw of Dalvin Cook coming off the injury and a disappointing season last year in New York, you're hoping that there's flashes. You don't want to depend on them for sustained stuff. But what I would like to see, I forget who just suggested the use of Kevontae Turpin, but use every bullet in the gun to keep teams off balance so they can't lock in on what you're doing. You've got some speed element, obviously, in Deuce Vaughn and Kevontae Turpin. Use them. You've got now. I will say this about Zeke: is he the dominant workhorse back? Absolutely not. Hadn't been that for about 3 or 4 years.
Correct.
But what Ezekiel Elliott is really good at, that addresses the Cowboy weakness of last year, he is outstanding in short yardage. Still, he is still a short yardage dog. So
it's something we've been struggling with.
Right. And guess what that does? That helps your defense, right? Which was a problem last year. So this the whole, we talk about complementary football and all that. So a guy like a Zeke Elliott, a guy like a Dalvin Cook, used in spot duty if he comes on, because those guys can pass block, they can catch, they can, they're good in the screen game, and they're good in short yardage situation. And I love the fact that Zeke is at least in the fold, because I really like what Zeke became as Tony Pollard became the guy here. He became actively supportive, not just here, just talking about it and saying the right things in the media. You could see the support. You heard it from Tony Pollard himself. He actually matured and became a really, really good teammate, a really good veteran guy. I think those things are important for a team that needs it, that's trying to get over the hump. But on the field, short yardage from Zeke, red zone from Zeke, even in his last year here before he went to New England, Zeke scored 12 touchdowns. Now, he didn't score 12 touchdowns, ripping off 30 and 40-yard runs like he used to. But, if it was inside that 10, certainly inside the 5-yard line, he was money. He scored 12 touchdowns. People tend to forget that. He still got that. He's still crafty. He's still a bull in short yardage situations. So, again, to land the plane on my point, it's still incumbent upon Mike McCarthy, the play caller, because, this is his second year of calling the plays. He's got to be on point in terms of how he uses what, the pot of gumbo at running back that we have. That's the bottom line. He's got to be really, really smart on, hey, man, this is Zeke's situation. Let Zeke eat. If Rico's going, let him roll. Keep him off balance with what's our guy? The Lucky Whitehead type plays with Kevontae Turpin, because he's got that ability. I mean, he makes one guy miss, he's gone. You stick Deuce Vaughn back there 3 to 5 carries. Well, they can't see him till he's on the other side of the line of scrimmage. So, gotta use what you got, man. I think they got a collective ability, and we'll see how it works.
Hey, man, let Sedarian play some tail. Let him play some tail back a little bit every now and then. Seriously. 5 times. I mean, he can get 5 carries, over a season, 10 carries over a season, spot him well, I have an interesting fun fact, and I think that you boys may have seen this on the opening broadcast on Thursday night. Baltimore is second all time with 6 consecutive seasons of averaging 140 plus rushing yards on the ground per game. Do you boys know who holds the record and what the number is? This is a fun fact of the highest order. The record is 15, held by your Dallas Cowboys, 1968 to 1982.
Believe that.
140 plus. It's one of those crazy Cowboy stats. You're like, damn, those dudes were good.
That is a crazy Cowboy stat.
Those guys were good, right?
Yeah.
Which is why we love them. And I want to ask you guys, and it's once again, I'm asking you guys questions that I'm going to give the answer to. I'm just doing it in question form for dramatic effect. What did Dalvin Cook and Zeke Elliott have in common last year? Horrific quarterback play. Terrible quarterback play.
That's an excellent point.
That's
an outstanding point.
Yeah. The run game being the quarterback's best friend, it cuts 2 ways.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
It's not a sycophant, single white female type relationship where, it's just all on the running back. And,
right.
The running back benefits tremendously from quarterback play. That's what we talk about. We talk about the symbionts and the symbiotic nature of it. It's all about situation, and that's why what we keep talking about and what, DB had mentioned is it's really comes down to play calling. Now, we heard Coach McCarthy, all right, and again, I crack him constantly He leaves himself wide ass open to get cracked, in my opinion. All right, but I don't want to discount what Coach McCarthy has done in his career to arrive at the station that he's at, which is the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys right now. I don't want to just dismiss that and come in late and look, I can nitpick now. I don't want to dismiss that, but and staying with the theme, his quote, and I know you guys remember it was, Kellen Moore, Kellen Moore wants to, basically party out there, and I want to run the damn ball. Like he said that. Like, hey, Playboy, you said that. So again, we're at that point again.
Right.
Like they say in Tennessee, we finna see. We have to commit to it. We all thought that when the thing with Zeke in the playoff game, with Pollard in the playoff game, when they lost Pollard. Okay, you can't. It could not just be all on Zeke, but they refused to run. I think it was Malik Davis was the other guy that they had on the. Just refused to. Just flat out, just not going to do it. And you don't know until you do use someone.
Correct.
And get them, especially for running backs. Running backs need a rhythm. That's the thing. They get better as the game goes on. And it's in levels. It's not that, every single running back could get to, is better at carry 25. They've all got their little pitch count. Okay. And, if it's 10, if it's 12, whatever it is, you've got to stay with it enough to see what you've got. Rico, Deuce Vaughn, you've got to see what you've got.
No doubt.
This what I'm seeing is the committee thing, and you were talking about workhorse, DB, and I think that's just going to be that. In my estimation, is kind of just going to be kind of a statistical thing, where I'd like to see Rico get about 900 to 1,000, and then get somewhere close to that same amount out of Cook, Elliott, and Vaughn combined.
Right.
And of course, right. They said they're going to mix in some Lemke. They're going to mix in some Turpin. Mix in some Sedarian. Okay, cool. We got stuff and things and ways to piece it together. It can be done. On the bright side, I do believe it can be done. And I want to leave it. I want to leave it at this, because this is another thing that I don't think everyone looks at. Starting two rookies on the offensive line. Is that a plus? Is it a minus? Another way that we can improve the running game is by blowing some wide ass open holes up front.
Absolutely.
Right. Digging in and getting after some people up front. If your offensive line has improved, you cannot dismiss that. All right. That is huge. Right. If it has indeed improved. Okay, we think that there's some rumblings that it kind of has. We've seen good things and heard good things out of Guyton. I don't know if y'all saw the play with Max Crosby in the preseason, where Guyton went head up, and then Crosby kind of put him over. Was like, all right, boy, I see you, nice job. Kind of head-butted him. Gave him a little pop in the chest there. Like, I see you, boy, I see you working, and that's a good put over, because Crosby can ball. So that's another way that the run game can be improved. We're talking about Terrence Steele also. He should be better. Following the injury, this is where it should kind of start getting back to normal. And his run blocking, which really kind of is his hallmark, on that right side, should be getting back to form. We know we got in Martin. We know we got in Tyler Smith, right? We feel like Guyton can hold up. BB's going to add what we've been looking for, that second level. He's going to add that. He's going to add that push. DB had the video where, he dirted two people on the same play in Vegas, right? Which that's what I'm talking about, man. That's John Hanna type shit. That's Larry Allen type stuff. You know what I'm saying? You can improve your run game with the offensive line. And I'll say this. I wish that Mr. Spoonmaker, the tight end that we took a second-round draft pick on, I wish he was a better inline blocker. Jesus, he went to Michigan. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wish he at least had that work for him, but that's fine. They use Lemke in that spot as well. And Ferguson is a crafty blocker. So by improving at the point of attack on the O-line, you can also improve your run game that way.
No doubt. Breaking news.
Yeah, breaking news. Breaking news. Rain Prescott has been signed, according to Adam Schefter, for $4,240,000 guaranteed. Now, shout out to Damon for breaking that. You kind of stole Fool's Texas Thunder a little bit, but it is what it is. You had a little cleaner. The deal said Jerry, Dak and Jerry making week one. And it just kind of led in what I always said. Somehow, some way, Jerry gonna find his way to be inside your brain rent free with his Dallas football Cowboys. That's just what Jerry do. Well, since we can kind of skip the line a little bit of the show. Well, actually, before let me see who's been listening in the comment section. I got a trivia question for you today. Trivia question is, you know what? I'm gonna drop $5 on your Cash App, man. If you can get this done in let's say 5, I'm gonna give you 3 minutes if you can come up with the answer. So someone in the comment section tell me what was the inspiration behind Jerry Jones in the Club 88? What was his inspiration?
Nice.
Not incredibly hard, but something to kind of chew on a little bit as we get through the show. Sorry, so as you guys in the comment section figure
it
that out.
wasn't Jackie Harris, was it?
Jackie Harris?
I'm sorry, he wore 88. My bad. I'm sorry, I'm just goofing, man. I'm goofing. My bad. I'm sorry. Please continue, sir.
No, so okay, so you guys let me know. Google is your friend. All right, so going forward in the show, since we just talked about Dakota Rain Prescott getting his big contract, showing the Cowboys have at least for right now committed long term because it was kind of it was kind of in the ether. If we're gonna actually go all the way with Dak, or we're gonna hold out for someone else in the draft, are we gonna have Trey Lance? Before we get to Dak, let's talk a little bit about the Trey Lance experiment, and we won't take a lot of time with this. But
there's not a lot to take.
Right. So some takeaways.
Green. He's green. He's green. He is just ridiculously green. It is painful to watch a quarterback that is just so green like that. He has not gotten enough snaps. This is the NFL. You can't just force him on him unless you're in tank mode. So again, as you said, be quick, be tight, wrap it up. There's ability there, but the kid is green. Really green.
Clip, like 15 seconds. What he said. Going into this, I like the fact that they committed to giving him this preseason to get snaps. Correct. Because anybody that held anything close to expectation of him being the backup here, and then you had those who really jumped out there. It was like, he probably could be Dak's replacement. It was like, man, get off that narcotic, because that was never going to happen. You're talking about a guy who was very, very deservedly in the MVP conversation versus a guy who hadn't played more than your local high school quarterback has in the last 2 years.
400
what you think was going to happen? He's going to be green, like JC said. Now, the only thing that sucks about that is that I think this running back committee thing happened because you surrendered a 4th round pick, and that was fertile ground to go get that dog that you probably could have gotten in the draft by surrendering that 4th rounder for Trey Lance. That was your cost of doing business on that deal. Somewhere, the San Francisco 49ers probably, did a shot. It was like, we got out of that deal. But you live and you learn, and you get down the road. But yeah, the Trey Lance thing, and here's the thing: if they can get anything for him, a bus pass, a movie coupon, a hot 2-piece, no biscuit. If they can get anything for him, that's a win. If they're opting to move him, but there was no real substance there of him disrupting Dak Prescott or Cooper Rush for that matter. So.
Well, I'm going to say this. I was a toe in the water kind of guy with the premise that let's see what he has.
No doubt.
And the reason why is because I'm just trying to follow the logic home. If you spend a 4th on him and you bring him in, because, as we know, he had a lot of talent coming out of with the North Dakota State.
Correct.
Not a lot of film on him. So I understand the obvious disdain, like, okay, I don't want to bring in a guy as a Cowboy fan. I don't want to put him over Dak, and that wasn't my thing. Now, has Dak got a little stale to me in some ways? Yes. Has Dak become a lot disappointing in playoff games? His fault or not? Yes. Because and the reason why is because we're in year 8 now.
Mm-hmm.
I expect some stuff you just put on your shoulder and you just get done. Fair or unfair? If we're gonna say that he's a top 5 somehow quarterback, right, in the NFL. But with all that being said, I'm not a throw the baby out with the bathwater kind of guy. So I wasn't saying just, promote him and just give it to him and let him fall on his face. I'm more like, again, let me follow the logic home. What are you trying to do? Okay, you got this stalemate with Dak contractually. Now you kind of slow rolling Trey out. Like, I just wanted to see what the direction is, right? So now, again, with Trey's not so great preseason play, good in flashes, but like you say, Green just can't make simple reads, throwing the ball, getting happy feet. Those are things that you don't want to see rolled out with QB1. Even damn near if you're tanking, you don't want to see that shit. You gotta want to see some damn competent quarterback play. As much as I want to see that young man succeed, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you on these damn podcasts. So I think that's a little bit sprinkled of both of those things of why people had some type of aspiration to see him do something. Sure. But to you guys' points, I mean, it ain't much meat on that bone, dog. You gotta go and throw that to Fido, dog. It is what it is. But you can get if you get a pair of Dallas Wings tickets, Caitlin Clark not even playing there, then take them because that holds more value than what you got right now as things currently stand. Let me shout out 2 super chats, man. Shout out my guy Dex, man. How about them boys?
Dex.
1-0 week 1. That's how you come in with a doggone super chat, putting a 10 ball on it. Let me get you right, man. You know what happened over here when you drop a little cash on it.
You know what I mean, Uncle? Yeah. Money. Yeah. Money. Yeah.
That is
I've been waiting on that, by the way.
Hey, real quick on Lance, just final thing. 2 inches taller, bigger arm, 6 years younger than Prescott. That's where any of the superlatives end in comparison to Prescott at this point. That's what people see. He's 6'4". Oh, he can really run. But I think it's everything you said. Let's sum it up. Let's get off Lance. Get off Lance, right? Producers are saying, get off Lance. It's the decision-making process.
Yeah.
He's not decisive. You saw Patty Mahomes, man, the way they busted that inside slot release with authority. Boom! Catch, get it off. You know what I'm saying? Confidence, decision-making process, and being able to play the game with speed because of the confidence. That's it. So now, no more Trey Lance. That's put to bed.
I got you. All right. So in second, shout out to my guy Between the Game Sports says, I see you another 10. So shout out to my guy Will, man. And, I'm gonna go Coach Prime with it. I know they caught that issue yesterday, but we still Coach Prime friendly over here.
Who is Swag, baby?
I love it.
The undefeated internet.
The internet has never lost a battle, though.
It really hasn't.
Winning. #winning.
All right, so come in. So bring it back. We're 18 deep. Y'all hit the like button, man. Listen, man, y'all gonna get this fun show every week, man. We got y'all. Anybody got the answer, man? I got a $5 cash app, man. Anybody know what is the inspiration behind Jerry Jones's Club 88? All right. So moving forward, Index, you did answer, but it was not correct. It wasn't because of Drew Peterson. It goes a little further back. All right, so let's go forward, man. So we're gonna get into the Cowboys. Obviously, game 1, preview. But let's talk a little bit more about the parts we do have. We spent some time talking about Sedarius. We spent some time talking about Zeke, Dak, kicking the tires a little bit with Dalvin Cook. But let's talk about some of the other guys who are coming back this year. And we'll try to keep as tight as we can, and then we're gonna go to the preview. But listen, man, Trayvon Diggs coming back. One of the biggest things that nobody's been talking about. At least I ain't been seeing it. I get it because we lost the run Bland, so it's like, can we ever get what we really want? But right. Gentlemen, with Diggs coming back and Micah Parsons, man, what do we expect out of our defense this year? We'll kick it off with you, JC.
Man, absolutely. And the disappointing thing, and once again, we saw Jordan Love got hurt. No one cares. And this is not me being a dick or being callous, although I've been accused of being that before. It's you lose Bland, okay? And this is it hurts so bad because for me, Bland and Williams, these are the year 3 guys that I'm like, oh man, here we go. It is time. Particularly Williams. It's like, okay, cool. Less DE for Micah. All right. Less defensive end for Micah. Williams is going to get a ton of those snaps. And he's, again, not to be on the Trey Lance things, but he's 2 inches taller than Micah and just as fast. You know what I'm saying? And we saw the production out of him slowly but surely. All right. And the snaps that he was getting. So you don't have him and you don't have Bland. Okay. But again, as I said before, as I just spent all that time talking about it, no one cares. But there are still, this is the thing. This is why I think there's a lot, there's the talk of their demise, complete demise and falling off the face of the earth, I think is really premature. The roster is still very, very good. You still have Micah. You still have Diggs. Okay. Obviously, I want to see what the young backers are going to do, what the Nostane kid's going to do. You know what I'm saying? Want to see what my man Overshown's going to do. You know, want to see if Clark is healthy. You know, and see what those guys are going to do. Because DB talked about it last year. Hey, it's because I was always like, well, you know, look at the roster. You know, it's like it's damn near perfect. And you're like, well, there's one deficiency, and it's at the backer spot.
Glaring.
That was a bodies situation. Mm-hmm. That was having guys, okay, like real guys, okay. Mm-hmm. You know, not nightclub.
Yeah, you want your guys to be able to play.
Yeah. Not nightclub bouncers and dock workers and shit like that, like real NFL guys. Right. Like they had to address that. Feel like they did. All right. I think that's really in this whole thing, just to sum it up in terms of the defense and the way that it works with the offense. This is what I've always been hoping. While Dak is your guy, make the shit around him so good that he can't help but get him to the bowl. You know what I'm saying? Make it so good. O-line, so good. Defense, so good. Special teams, so good. Don't forget, good return man. All-pro kicker, all-pro punter. You're in pretty good shape there. Thank you again, Will McClay. It make it so good around him.
Yeah.
That everything just falls into place. And that's what I want to see. And again, as I said, I think talk of their demise. There may be a little bit of a decline. Talk of their demise is premature. We'll get into predictions later.
Love it. D Brown, what you got?
Man, so the thing for me on the returning piece is this. This team returns a lot of talent. Where they've got to get markedly better to get, and this is completely away from, you know, what Dak, you know, has not done personally at his position. Well, they've got to get markedly better. And this show in particular was harping on this and has been harping on this for 3 years. And this is where I like the addition of Mike Zimmer, is they have got to get markedly better. I don't care what you put out there about Dak Prescott. The things that got Dallas beat, their glaring Achilles was their inability to defend the run. They were not decent, not bad. They were horrible. They were horrible. Go look at the last 3 playoff losses. I'm not talking about the Miami game, embarrassing. I'm not talking about the Buffalo game or the Arizona game or the San Francisco games, all regular season, embarrassing. I'm talking about the playoff game.
The Rams,
San Francisco twice, Green Bay last year.
Yeah.
Run game. Inability to defend it every time. That's been a glaring thing. We talked about a culture thing, right, with Baltimore, JC, when you mentioned the Baltimore's overt commitment to running the football and the stat that you gave, which is awesome, that underscores that commitment. Well, guess what? Teams also show where they don't have a big emphasis. Dallas, for whatever reason, has never really valued the linebacker position. If you look at the other teams that were at the top of the NFC, Philly 2 years ago, incredible against the run, very, very solid linebacking core. The alpha of that group, San Francisco, linebackers, forget about it. You know, what did Baltimore go and do? Baltimore, who's always been really good that way, obviously, with their history. So what do? To keep with that culture, they go ahead and get Roquan Smith. How's that working? So, hopefully there's a little bit of a culture change. And I think just by sheer attrition that we get Overshown back, who I think would have helped a lot last year. Overshown was one of those guys that was showing that pop in camp, even on the play that he got hurt on. in the preseason game last year, he was making a play behind the line of scrimmage, right? And he hurts a knee. So hopefully when you talk about Diggs, you're returning all pro talent, the promising talent that was overshown, you hope those guys are back because, you know, the whole thing with ACLs, you know, sometimes it takes a little longer with different guys, what have you. But both of their injuries happened early enough in the year where they've had that full year plus to rehab that they can come in and hit the ground running because you've already got a little bit of an injury situation now on the other side, obviously with Bland, and even Carson's now a little bit dinged up, the promising rookie. So, but I think on the whole, when you look at what Dallas is returning offensively, I think they added a gem, quite honestly, in Cooper Beebe. This is a guy that had he come from a bigger program, had he come from a Georgia, a Notre Dame, a Bama, you know, an LSU, Michigan, one of those types, then he's a first-round pick. This guy was two-time OL, offensive lineman of the year in the Big 12. He was a unanimous All-American. This guy didn't sneak up on talent-wise on anybody. And for Dallas to have gotten him, shout out to Will McClay, to have gotten him in the third at a position of need, because since Travis Frederick went down, center's been really dicey. So to have that guy in the fold along with those that you brought back, this is still a really talented core. And I'll land the plane here. Now, I can get the pundits being a little bit off on Dallas because you know, the disappointing finish again of this team, you know, being a 2 seed, having home field, and doing all those things, and they spit the bit again. But look at that schedule. You know, we can't discount the schedule. Dallas's AFC divisional run happens to be from the division that was the best in football last year in the AFC North. So is it unrealistic to think they may step back a little bit? Sure it is. I mean, sure it's not. But to the point where they're a 500 or below 500 team, absolutely not. This team's too talented for that. They've got too much, and now you've got your newly paid QB1 and wide receiver 1 back with their money. Hey man, let's strap it up. Let's get after it. And I think they're going to be fine. And I'll definitely land it here. If Dallas, with all their returning talent, gets through, I don't know if you guys have seen the first 6 games of their schedule. If they get through the first 6 games of that schedule better than 500, Dallas is going to be a problem. And I'll go with that.
And don't forget, boys, real quick fun fact, another one. Will McClay dealing again, comes into the draft needing offensive lineman, trades back, still gets his guy, squeezes Detroit for a 3, and adds Cooper Beebe.
Yep.
Genius.
Absolute
genius.
Absolute
Give him another raise.
With Zim, the way they've acquiesced to Mike Zimmer, they go get his guy that's run his system in Kendrick. That's your starting middle linebacker.
Yeah.
Right.
That's telling. That's very telling.
Yeah. I mean, you go get
very
guys,
telling.
the cornerback that they God, what's the cornerback? Help me, guys. That they traded for late in camp. That actually performed really well in the
second round kid.
That's correct.
That was the second round. Was the Vikings?
No, it'll come to me.
But he was the second. Was it Booth? Is it Booth?
Booth. It was Booth. They swapped Najon for Booth. They swapped the last chance you kid for Booth. Right. So it's going to be real interesting, I think, and this is why you bring Mike Zimmer in and you move off of Dan Quinn, is because he's a guy who I think addresses what they needed most, which was shoring up that run game. Oh, and you go get 2 wide loads in the middle of that line, and Linval Joseph, and to help shore up again what they needed. Get big guys, keep their bigs off our linebackers, let our linebackers run to the ball, and guess what? Say it with me, y'all. Say it with me in the chat. Stop the run.
Man.
They've got to get off the field.
Damn run.
I just wish our first round draft pick was eating all of the 1-tech snaps. That's why I said that's telling. Sam is like, I'm not effing around, right? Like I think you had to quote DB, get your mind right or I'll get it right for you.
Absolutely.
If Mozzie ain't gonna get his ass in gear, I'm gonna make that trade with the Giants. That kid that they got from the Giants was pretty productive a couple years ago for Buffalo. That could have been a steal. Okay, had a pretty good season and got a good money deal from the Giants. to leave Buffalo. Williams, I think the kid's name is, the D tackle. That could be a steal. Right. But the fact that they're still adding one techniques, I mean, what, like, who's next? Snacks? Where's Sue? Is Sue bumping around? It's just very distressing and very telling to me that our one technique that we drafted with a 22nd pick overall in the draft, okay, another Michigan guy, not to cap on Michigan, they've already had a bad enough weekend as it is, all right, that this guy, okay, is not eating up the one technique snap. So, again, just something else to pay attention to, something else to follow, you know, kind of
you're right about
progress or lack thereof.
Hey, Clip, before we move to the matchup, I want to shout out two people in the chat that popped on. Coach Karen Miller, hollering at us all the way from Queens, New York, and my man Damon Brown. We affectionately call him Lake Charles. Lake Charles, good to see you on the chat, man. Jumping in with us. And
yes,
Coach
sir.
Karen, that's good stuff. Popping in all the way from Queens, New York. Good
Appreciate
stuff.
y'all being a part, man. We're 19 deep. Y'all hit the like button, man. Let's get some more bodies here, man. Listen, you're getting Cowboy content like nowhere else. It's Straight No Chaser Cowboy podcast. Just saying. I hate to toot my own horn, but toot, God dog it. And I gotta say this too, man. You know, I'm always bringing my boy up, Marquise Bell, getting back to his natural position, playing safety.
There he is,
good, looking great. You know,
is that brother Marquise?
And
Jalen. And your boy Jalen.
Marquise. Back where it belongs.
Tolbert.
Oh, okay, got you. Yeah, I mean, but listen, man. I think for what he was asked to do in the Dan Quinn, coming in playing linebacker, man, Marquise Bell, you know, we all know now.
Mm-hmm.
Where the football at, that's where he at.
Yeah.
When he get the tackle, he in the vicinity, he just a ball hawk. Always been at his FAMU, and even back in Maryland, where he was at before that.
Right.
So I'm glad to see him back playing his natural position and we're gonna start seeing him take some balls out there too. I told man, one thing that made a name for him is his propensity not only to be at the ball as far as making plays, but also high pointing balls and taking them in the other direction. So y'all be on the lookout too, man.
I love it.
Marquise Bell is going to be a name you're going to be talking about for a long time going forward, and as an unsung hero for the Dallas Cowboys, unless you know somebody drops some bread on them that you know we can't match.
One time for Wanye too. Boys the man.
Absolutely.
Boys the man back there doing his thing.
Come on, man. Absolutely. Come on, where are you, Wanye?
Ain't number 2 dudes in the man.
Fire last year.
Indeed.
Come on, man. We need some plays, dog. We need some plays.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and to kind of end the, to land the plane on the show, we're gonna go ahead. Oh, trivia question. Y'all missed this. We're gonna do another one next week. So, if you guys don't know, Jerry Jones started Club 88 over his teammate at Arkansas. His name was Jerry Lamb. So, he wore number 88, so he had an affinity for him. So he made that a thing for the Dallas Cowboys. So that's where it started with his teammate Jerry Lamb. And so, apropos that, our current player CD Lamb. Just saying.
Well done.
So he starts it for this guy, but he plays with fucking Lance Allworth. Doesn't start a club for him. Come on. I mean, seriously, this is the receiver that. Okay, I'm sorry. Please, I digress.
Hey.
Continue. Play with fucking Lance Allworth, and I'm gonna start a club for 88. Hey. I'm sorry. Please continue.
Jerry he want to do with his money. But all right, as we let the play on the show, y'all previews. And I got to start off the show with this. And Darren, you pointed out earlier, man, condolences to Deshaun Watson for losing his father.
Absolutely.
So, football competition is one thing, life is another. So definitely want to express that before we tear into their ass. So going forward with the Cleveland Browns, man, insights, thoughts, predictions. We got about a hot 10. Where do we stand? What do we think, gentlemen?
Cleveland Browns. This is a team that they want to believe. They made the playoffs last year. Okay. Previous history to that, not very good. Okay. So this is literally uncharted territory for them, coming in and thinking of themselves as the hunter as opposed to the hunted. Now, the Dallas Cowboys have 3 straight 12-win seasons. Okay. Because they have an excellent football team, personnel-wise. All right. So, again, this one looks bad for a variety of reasons. People are seeing Amari Cooper matched up on Carson, the rookie. They're seeing Myles Garrett, head up with Tyler Guyton, you know, and they're wondering. This all points to, you know, a bad day for the Cowboys. Okay. In the words of Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend. Right? There are still, right? There are still excellent football players elsewhere on this Cowboy team. And we've talked about the running back room, okay, and how it's rated. And, you know, kiss my ass with the ratings. No one cares, all right, with your stupid ratings. We have a season to play. Again, I keep going back to Tennessee. We finna see. We'll see how it plays out. Okay, we still have a season to play. This is the now, right here, right now. Another area where they are poorly rated. They have the worst third receiver in football according to these rating systems. Tolbert equals terrible according to them. All right. So
interesting.
I'm not totally in that camp, but in looking at the third receiver position, this is another spot, you know, that you will get something out of. And there's talk of using Turpin and things of that nature. Okay. And I think this is a good thing. Okay. And I'm still not 100% out on Tolbert. His history indicates he gets, the longer he's in the system, the better he gets at it. Well, it's year 3, it's time.
Right.
Okay. And like I said, I don't dislike his talent. It's all about matchups. And again, Deshaun Watson, you know, man, too much talk about there. Way too much. But the talent is dynamic. 5-1 last year, you know, when he started. Okay. So we know that he's got the game. We know that. But man, his timeline, his continuum, if you will, of progressing as a quarterback has been a life interrupted, brother. It has been full of him not playing QB for long stretches. So this interrupts his timeline. So as talented as he is, still things to prove with him, right? Still things that he's got to prove. But we know the talent is there. I like them defensively. I like Ward, the corner. I think he's excellent, extremely underrated. Okay. You know, we all know about Garrett, you know, and you know, offensively, you know, what happened to Chubb, that injury, like that was terrible. What a great running back he was, but they also seem to have a commitment to it. And Njoku, the tight end, is finally starting to be the guy that everybody looked at and said, here's this big 6'5", 250-pound guy. He's fluid. He's fast. You know, he's athletic, you know, and it's finally starting to come together there, right? And again, hate to say it, Cooper has bolstered their passing game. So dependable. Such quality route runner like all those Alabama guys are. Right. I mean, he's just a quality wide receiver. Just so good. They're at home. They're going to be juiced.
Of course.
I see a tough game. I see in my mind, I see Cleveland winning a close emotional one, but would not be surprised at all if Dallas won that game. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Wouldn't be surprised at all. I expect it to be a good, tough, physical game. And again, the Cowboys are facing a lot, but hey, everybody's missing guys. You know, it's time to line them up and play. It'll be what it'll be. But I think talk of the Cowboy demise is premature to me. There's still some tread left on the tire. That's my belief.
I agree with a lot of what you said, man, and that, you know, it's amazing to me. I was thinking about the whole Deshaun Watson thing prior to the show starting, just how, 2 years ago? I mean, it almost seems like a lifetime ago now, because you made the excellent point of there's a lot of things that have contributed to him, and you said in his career.
8 games in 2 years.
He's not played ball, right?
Yeah, 8 games in 2 years.
Right. So, and even with that, the promise, you said, because of the dynamic talent, here's a guy that gets $230 million guaranteed, you know, and didn't play. So there's people out there that write the checks that hold him in that same regard. When you look at the buzz that was with him when he was in Houston before those interruptions happened, like you said, JC, it just seemed like a lifetime ago. It's like, you're right. He absolutely has a lot to prove, but I liken that to any quarterback that has shown or had a reasonable amount of regular season success and has not gotten it done yet. in the postseason, i.e., QB1 here, you're still having something to prove, right? You still
Yes,
really that goes for. So if your name is not, Mahomes, of course,
the franchise has something to prove.
Right. Yeah. That guy, whoever's not winning it, Brock Purdy, for that matter, has something to prove. He's gotten there. He's gotten close. Until Matthew Stafford actually got over the hump. He was forever that. So
Goff's won the conference before and had some success last year in the playoffs.
Right. So you're always having to do that. But it's just, again, shout out to the young man. The loss of his father, there's going to be a lot of emotions. Do we know that he's going to play? Has anybody seen anything to that end? I received a message from my guy, Marshall Nash, about, him carrying that emotion in today's game. You mentioned the emotions are going to be juiced. I'm sure if he does play, they're going to be juiced anyway. The Cowboys in town, it's opening day. But something like that galvanizes the team. That's Q1.
Yes.
There's a lot of emotion in the locker room if he does play. And you think back to when Brett Favre had that ridiculous game that he had on Monday Night Football after he lost his father. Deshaun Watson has that kind of talent. It could be that kind of day. But I expect Dallas to, because there's a lot on Dallas's plate and having to prove something collectively, that's going to be a tough team to play. They've got their weapons. I think if Dallas is able to make them one-sided, if they're able to take away that one game, which has to be a premium this year, and make them one-sided where Deshaun is having to drop back every single time, get to the strengths of what Dallas's defense has been the last 2 years, which is rushing the passer. Now you're just disrupted. Dallas has led the league in takeaways. So if they can push them to that envelope, and get some balls in the air, turn them over, and then and let Dallas do their thing. If Dallas can get up early, that's going to bode well for them. If we hope that this revamped defense, from the run perspective, can settle in. So I too expect an opening day emotional, particularly if Deshaun plays emotionally charged game, I should say. This one could go either way. I agree with that you could definitely see Cleveland winning a close, emotional game, but not at all surprised if Dallas takes this one. And you want to hope, because you don't want to go into that mythical game, that game 2 scenario where you're having to win game 2 to avoid the 0-2 debacle with the Saints coming into Dallas next weekend. So should be a good game. I'm just glad we got real football to see, and so many questions that are still out there as far as these Cowboys go that are going to start to get answered. It won't be answered fully, but they'll start to get answered here in about 4 hours, and let's get at it.
Well, hey, listen, man, and let me just say this one thing. We're going excuse me, start over. We're going to be going against a really good, overall football team, man. And again, it's not one that's going to jump out on paper, but if we remember things in context, man, this team was looking good with goddamn Joe Flacco last year, man.
Yeah.
Huh?
4 different guys that took a snap.
Right. Yeah. So this is a good team. If you can plug and play like that, you have a really
made the playoffs with Flacco.
Come on. Flacco was looking damn good last year. If we're being honest.
Props, but it's a new year and your boy's back in the saddle. You got to prove this shit again.
Absolutely.
All this hype. All right. I keep saying it. We finna see all this hype.
Yeah.
You got to prove it.
So again,
Dallas has 36 wins in the past 3 years. You made the playoffs once with 4 QBs, and Flacco was leading the thing, not Watson. So they got questions too. All right, there's questions up there. There's questions up there in the mistake by the lake up there in the great city of Cleveland. There's questions there too, man. They're not
absolutely. So I'm just going in. Listen, it's a home game, like D. Brown said. It's going to be emotional charge if Deshaun does play.
Sure.
One thing I don't want to be as a Cowboy fan, think we're just going to roll over motherfuckers week after week, because we see that is not the case. Because we'll find an excuse to lose, meaning that we'll find a reason that we can't overcome some shortcoming, whether we talking self-inflicted. I mean, we know how we do, 3rd and distance, and 3rd and short. on defense. We'll find a way to hit somebody laid out of bounds and then give them another drive, right? We'll find a way when we're up a score. We'll be up a score, and let's say we get cute. We start airing the ball out. Before we know it, in a few possessions, we're down 3, right? Because the other team that came back and scored twice on our ass. So, like, we need to hunker down, lock down, and take care of these wins one by one, man. Do what we do. We need to figure out who we are week 1. So that's my take of today. Who are we? Who are the Dallas Cowboys as it stands right now in that running back room? Who are we? On that offensive line, like you pointed out so eloquently, JC, who are we? Are we going to put people on their backs? Or are we going to sit here and make excuses because we got rookies on the goddamn front line? On the defensive line, who are we? I don't know if Miles is playing, but listen, we in year 3 now. Excuses out the window. Like, I got to get Bell his flowers every time. Undrafted rookie out of FAMU has been a huge staple for our defense the last 2 years consistently. So who are we? So we'll see, man. We'll see if Trayvon Diggs is back in full form. And, oh, by the way, somebody who avoided all smoke today, Micah Parsons. Listen, we know you're real good with these early games. So I'm anticipate you come out here and you put some people on their ass today. But as the season progresses, who are you going to be when you start getting a little tired? People, I mean, listen, people hold them. People did J.J. Watt too. God damn it, who are you? So as we go forward, man, let's see who are the Cowboys, man. What are we going to make our mark on this season?
Right.
What's going to make us special? Because, again, to me, on the outside looking in, obviously not being a member of the team, it looks the same I've seen the last 3 years. I've been optimistic in some regard because I had a really good team. A really good team I'm looking at. But as we know, as time goes on, the fizzle effect is real. So, but listen, we can't talk about week 17. We only in week 1. So as it stands right now for week 1, who are we? That's what I got. So let's end the show real quick with predictions. Score predictions. What do we have?
Score predictions for today?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm going to preface this very quickly by saying let me turn this around because this is the Homer hat. All right. So tough game, like I said. I fully expect it to be emotionally charged for all the reasons we've stated. I think Dak walking out of that tunnel today, having gotten his money, CD having gotten his money, I think there's a vibe there. I think, and this is optimism speaking, I have nothing substantive yet, that they're going to let the young guys in BB and Guyton do what they do. JC, you'll appreciate this, much akin to what the 14 line did. And we know how much we love that 2014 line when you had really young rookie Zach Martin and year 2 Travis Frederick, and how they just mashed. And Lyle Collins, by the way, and mashed with young guys in the run game. So I expect to see some of that. I expect to see who are we point, the establishment of a run game, and using those big physical bodies, big young physical, kind of nasty, disposition bodies up front. Dallas gets a close one, and I'm going to go. They're not going to have an offensive explosion, but I'll go 21-17 Dallas. Road win.
I like it.
I love it, and I see it as a definite possibility. If WWE superstar Sheamus were here and in the building, the Celtic Warrior, nice, he would say what I'm about to say. Since he's not, I'm going to speak for Sheamus right now. For the love of Christ, where's your pride, Boyle? Where's your pride? It's just exactly what Cliff was saying. Who are you? Where's your pride, Boyle? And are they going to step up and say, hey, hang on a second. We're the ones that have been in the playoffs. Y'all got in last year with Flacco. We're staying. Listen, we're still serious. Micah's amped up. He's got Garrett playing across from him on the other side of the field.
Right.
Okay. We've seen it before. We've seen when Emmett would play against Barry. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Okay, man. So who's the man up in this camp, right? Out of, the defensive players. And it makes it an incredibly fascinating watch. It is a juicy opener because of the stories and the ways that it could potentially go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. a unique matchup, and it's an interconference matchup. So these teams don't see each other a lot. That comes into play in football. You'll see sometimes a team will play someone from another country. They don't see them all the time from a different conference. They don't see them all the time. And there's things that get exploited on both sides because the general overall lack of knowledge, whereas a lesser team in your division, oh yeah, we've seen that. We've seen that, you know, and so that makes it really a melding and a confluence of all these interesting stories wrapped in NFL football, you know, with the Dallas Cowboys and the Cleveland Browns, who, yes, lately their tradition has not been good. We also can say that here in Dallas. But when you go back, the Cleveland Browns have an incredible tradition of football. This is one of the games that you really live for in terms of the pageantry and everything surrounding it. So that being said, 2 on the field. I fear that McCarthy may get a little bit pass happy. Okay. I feel pretty good about Zim's ability to hold it down. Watson's a real wild card. I see a lot of the things that Cliff was talking about. You know, a stupid penalty, a bad coaching decision, a sequence of events that you're like, wow, nothing in that sequence went our way. You know, and for things that you could have handled, which is very disappointing to say that. But I could see something like that happen. And these things happen more on the road than they do at home. Okay. I'm going to say 23-17 Browns, but I also want to end it with this. This game, either way, does not indicate future success or failure.
Oh, no.
Completely. Thoroughly. It does not.
No.
You want to set the tone. You want to see guys show that they can play. Play on the lights, the rooks. You know, they haven't started this many rooks in a minute. They tried 4 of them out there.
Right.
Or 4 of them out there that they're starting. Okay, which, hey, man, you know, I remember the great Grant Taft said, well, you know what? I'd rather be young and inexperienced and talented, you know what I'm saying, than be seasoned and not that good.
Right.
You know, give me the talent, man. It's the NFL. It's the way it goes. And I'll go ahead and say for the 4th and final time today, we finna see. And I can't wait. And I can't wait. I can't wait. Cannot wait.
Hey, well, good stuff, gentlemen. Good stuff. They had to work. I hate to have to cut the show because we were cooking, man. I definitely would have liked another 30 minutes. But listen, man, I'm in my garage in my parking lot, so I don't know if you guys can hear me properly. But
you good?
Can you hear me?
Yep, you good.
Okay, yeah. So again, man, just going back to my original statement, man, I love this time of year. This is when we're at our most lofty. I guess when you see enough of these,
right,
it kind of beats you down with not so much loftiness, but just expectation. And from an expectation standpoint, I know this is going to be a rough game. I know we're going against a really good defense. I know we're going with a competent offense on the road. So we're going to see what this Dallas iteration is made of, man. Are we all hyped? Are we all talk? Are we going to come out there again with a depleted / old running back room and just find a freaking way to win? You referenced that game when we got destroyed by the Rams, Darren, in the playoffs 4 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And listen, I know they had one Todd Gurley back there, but they also had an old bastard Anderson back there who had a field day on us.
Yeah, came off the couch and went to work.
Went to doggone work.
Yeah.
Kind of reminiscent of like your boy Ray for Austin when he came and played for the Magic when Jameer Nelson went down. When he was pretty much done and came back on a warpath to show he still is an NBA point guard. So all I'm saying is, listen, man, Dalvin Cook, you got that same opportunity. Zeke Elliott, you got that same opportunity.
Good point.
I may have written you off. Who are you, though? What you going to do? So I'm ready to see this, man. I'm ready to see how we going to match up on wide out, like you said, against Coop, a guy who I really respect.
Yes, sir.
Pissed me off a lot, but a guy I really respect.
Yes,
what are we going to do with Myles Garrett? No excuses. We know what he brings to the yard night after night. But who are we, though?
It's a play of the year.
If we can't, listen, if we can't come later head against the goddamn Browns, man, this schedule gonna show us a whole bunch of what we thought was gonna happen that ain't gonna happen. So I expect a tough game. I expect us to come out and come back and show me, like JC said. This is Tennessee, so we finna see. So my prediction: Cowboys in a tough one, man. So this is hard to predict because I've not seen the full product yet, but I'm gonna probably put some Cowboy bias here. So I'm gonna go 24-21 Dallas Football Cowboys.
There you go.
All right. So any closing words, gentlemen, as we wrap the show?
Hey man, it's 2024. It's Dallas Cowboys. It's
feel free to take your time. Take your time. Get your thoughts out. You good?
Yeah, it's NFL football. It's Dallas Cowboys, man. It's season 4, straight no chaser, and I'm hyped. I'm really interested to see now with the drama, albeit 12th, 11 and a half hour. The drama of this season, which were the CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott contracts, are now in play. I mean, these guys have been extended. These guys got their money, and this is what we're rolling with. You're bringing back a really good team. So, as a Cowboy fan, the disappointments that I've had, that we've all had collectively, and how these seasons have ended the last 3 years, I'm still all in, to borrow one Gerald Wayne Jones's vernacular, because I'm a Cowboys fan first and last, and it's the beginning of another season. So, hey, let me use my own vernacular here. Let's get at it. Let's go. We got what we got. Let's go.
I want to say this. I agree. I do not have a second NFL team. I don't. If they said you have to have one, I wouldn't have one. If they said we're dissolving the Cowboys franchise and you're not getting an expansion team in Dallas, you got to have one, I still wouldn't have one. I'm a Cowboys fan.
100%.
That's how I get down. All right. Get ready. Buckle up. Here comes the ride. Accented with all the hype and the emotion that football brings. Oh, you're terrible. Oh, you're a genius. Oh, you're a moron. Everything that it brings as it builds to a crescendo where these very brave, tough, and strong men out there, just the shit that they do. All right. These are bad boys. All of them, and to see them get together and lay it on the line and find out who's who and what it is. I had an ex that was like, she told me, well, everything's not a comparison. I'm like, the hell you say? Everything is a comparison. That's exactly what it is. And that's what this is about, man. Thank you to both of you guys for having me on the show, for letting me be a part of this. It's awesome. And thank you, Cliff, for turning I'm from Tennessee, we finna see into a thing and put me over by saying it. Now we got it off 6 times on the show. Look for hashtags and merchandise coming soon. All right. Great day. Great day to be an American. Great day to be alive, man, and to take in all the football. But when we get to kick off with the boys and the Browns, we enter that other realm. You know what I mean? We take off into another world, baby. And so enjoy it. Enjoy it, man. All that it's worth. Pay everything its proper respects, the ups and the downs. And let's get them. Let's come out like DB said. Let's come out hot. Let's come out on fire, man. Inspired, right? Let's get them. Let's get them.
All right, and I land the plane here, man. Listen, man, another great day to be alive, like you said, man. Listen, we in the election season, so I know times are hot. Everybody got their opinions, everybody got their takes, but listen, one thing that is constant, ain't nothing like week 1 of NFL football, God dog it. And so I'm happy that you guys lend us your ears or two weekly. I saw the crowd was pretty good today, man. I promise you next week we'll be even better. And the week after that, we'll be even better. So thank y'all for locking in. And man, listen, to next week, straight no chaser.
Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. We'll see you later.
America's team.
There you go.
The world team.
The world team, baby. All right, y'all. Y'all lock in. See you next week. Thank y'all.
Peace.